Time for the Fan Connection presented by AT&T. Every week we invite you, the listener, to connect with us by submitting your questions. At AT&T, connecting changes everything. And on USLNT, our connections with you will help grow the game. It's time now for the AT&T Fan Connection, everybody's favorite time of the week. Welcome in, Jordan. And guess what? You just get me. Sorry for it. Deal with it.
Yeah, Landon wasn't able to be here with us this week, but he'll be back in 2 weeks. And
yeah, it's all about me anyway. Well, give me all the smoke. Give me the questions. I'm ready for it. Let's rock.
Before we do that, can we talk about the shirt that I'm wearing right now?
Yeah, it's kind of dope. What is that?
It is a Shark Topus shirt.
Who and what is Shark Topus?
Okay, so we heard this story back in like October about a team called Shark Topus FC who were facing another team. They're like a Seattle Pacific Northwest area team, facing another team called Bellevue Athletic in, I think it's the second round qualifying match for the U.S. Open Cup. And the referee that night used to play for Bellevue Athletic. And so Bellevue Athletic beat Shark Topus. It was a huge deal. They went to U.S. Soccer and were like, how are you allowing this to happen? Blah, blah, blah. They replayed the game and Shark Topus beat them in the replay.
That's what happens.
I love a good soccer story, don't
you? You know what also during our production, you had that on and it was like someone who's like heavily tattooed and then has also a very detailed shirt. Like I've seen that before, like on the street, and you're like,
too much going on.
Where does it start and stop? What is that? It's amazing.
Maybe I need like some octopus legs tattooed on me.
I have one. I think I have like one on my back shoulder.
Do you get to a point with tattoos where you're like, I don't know, it might, totally. It might be.
Oh, 100%. I was having a conversation, and this happened like twice recently, where I was like, oh, I have that. It was like a spider web or something. I have that tattoo. And I'm like, where? And I'm like, not 100% sure. Like it's maybe over here. I couldn't remember exactly where it was. It's just a lot of tattoos.
Let's get into some questions.
Yeah.
Okay, so this first question is from Mark via email. Now that the World Cup is almost here, I've noticed an uptick in people complaining about us Americans using the term soccer instead of football.
Mm-hmm.
I've never understood why people care so much what we call it. The Brits seem to give us the most grief, but why? They say lorry, we say truck, we say elevator, they say lift. We're two different countries. Why shouldn't we say things differently? I don't really blame the Brits so much as they like to, quote unquote, take the piss. But what drives me crazy are the Americans who buy into this nonsense.
Sure.
Why do you think Americans care what Brits think?
It's a great question. Because we've always been seen as trying to be more knowledgeable about the game, right? We haven't had it as long as the Brits or other countries, and so we're trying to keep up with the Joneses, so to speak. Look, here's my thought. I don't care, nor should you. The way that I operate is I lived in Manchester for 13 years, and I only ever said football. But then when I would hop on a plane and come back here or do an interview with a U.S. publication, I say the word soccer. I say it every day. That's all I talk about is soccer or football. And I could have 10 conversations about the game in a given day, and I just flip back and forth between using the term. It doesn't matter. That's the answer. It doesn't matter. If you want to say soccer, say it. If you want to say football, say it. If you want to use the same term differently in the same conversation, do it. Doesn't matter.
One of my favorite things about our particular group, Group D in the World Cup, is that we'll be playing Australia, which is another country that's known for referring to it as soccer. In fact, they're called the Socceroos.
Socceroos.
Right? And the captain of their team, Jackson Irvine, is also the captain of FC St. Pauli, which we've talked about on this podcast, is my Bundesliga team. So we're not the only country in the world that calls it soccer. We just, I don't know. I feel like sometimes people love to do the like American Revolutionary War, like us versus England is like still a beef. It's like, guys, that was 250 years ago. I think we can
it was,
move on from
but
that.
also the Australian accent is amazing. So they get away with it more. Like if you're having a conversation with an American and they say soccer, it sounds totally different than having a conversation with an Australian who says soccer, because the Aussie accent is just amazing.
Okay, this question is from Kevin via email. And as I mentioned on this podcast before, I love when people suggest how we can change the rules of soccer to make it better. Here is my thought to make the beautiful game even more beautiful. You can't touch the opponent on corners until the ball is kicked.
Mhm.
How much time is wasted by refs separating players that are tussling and shoving while the ball is out of play? It
Mhm.
is such a pointless part of the game and doesn't lead to any better soccer being played. So much bad blood between teams is formed during these wrestling matches while a guy stands in the corner waiting for the ref to say, no more, and then go right back to doing what they were doing before. I don't think much would change for the viewer if the players just started a few feet apart rather than grappling for position. Once the ball is kicked, it's business as usual.
I don't hate it. I don't hate it, which is a surprising reaction for me. I think it would, which most people care about, I think it would give a massive advantage to the attacking team.
Mhm.
So that could be a reason for doing it. Yeah, I don't hate it. I don't hate it. I could see it. I could see the you have to. I mean, no touching would be odd. It'd be really hard because you wouldn't. It would almost be like you wouldn't be able to stay with your runner. It would have to be some sort of contact. But also trying to think how do you police that? That's a VAR nightmare waiting to happen, right? Because someone's going to touch. But I don't hate it. It's an interesting one. Not one I had thought of. So
It
I th-
feels maybe I'm wrong about this, but it feels to me like that rule would require more rules on top of it in terms of like where your positioning would have to be in
yeah, yeah,
order
yeah,
to
yeah, yeah.
make that because like you said, the attacking team would have the advantage. So you would have to there would have to be like lines drawn about how far you could be as an
Yeah,
attacking player, that kind of
yeah.
thing. So I feel like we might end up over complicating the
The
situation, but I do agree sometimes that like how much time we spend being like, all right,
yeah.
guys, you know.
Well, the other thing, interesting part that I just thought of is like the rule on top of the rule would be how do you fudge the rules? So if you're an attacker, you then what's the penalty for being touched? So the attacker would then lean into the defender and create the contact and then say I was touched. So then I don't know. It's a really interesting question, one that I don't think will happen. But I hear you. I hear you. Not bad.
I feel like when the seasons were starting, there were some rules that we were talking about like time wasting from goalkeepers and different things. Like, do do you ever feel like sometimes we spend a lot of time, especially in the jobs that we have, talking about these things, and then we don't necessarily see them come to fruit? Like, I don't know. I
No, it's a
don't
real
find that
thing.
I've noticed it has like dramatically changed the game,
No, it's a
right?
real
Have
thing.
you?
It's a real thing. What they'll do is at the beginning of every or every couple of seasons, certainly before major tournaments, they'll implement a rule that the referees. I know it's their job because they're going to lose their job if they don't do what they're told. They go so heavy on these dumb rules, and then it's like, oh my god, it's like time wasting, blow for an indirect free kick, and all these rules. And then slowly, as things go on, you like get 3 6 months down the line, they actually become more lenient on it. Like so, it's a real it's a real thing that it's not like you're forgetting about it. It's like sort of dissipating, right? Like I remember you, the fact you just said that, and I cover the Premier League every week is amazing because I forgot that they're even counting. Like I don't even see the referees counting the goalkeepers anymore. It was supposed to be like what they is like a 5 second countdown or something. Like you don't even see that anymore. I just think it's they implement these rules to like be really stern and tell you what you can and can't do, and then they just go away.
I also just think that like I don't know. I have a lot of strong feelings about VAR and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, I have to, as a fan, like you have to trust the referee to a certain extent that they're making decisions for the benefit of the game, right? Like not to hinder the game. And that's why, when fans are like, that's a yellow and like
Yeah,
all that kind of stuff, it's like, well, we have to make certain decisions so that we don't just completely grind the
totally,
game to a halt, right?
totally. The one I do like, I'll say that I don't know if you heard this. I believe that FIFA is implementing VAR checks for goal kicks and corner kicks in the World Cup. And the reason I'm in favor of this is because I've always basically said, like, you can review everything essentially leading up to a goal, handball, offside, all these things, right? Are you interfering with the goalkeeper's line of vision? But if a linesman and a referee blatantly, we've seen this happen a couple times recently, blatantly get a call wrong and give a corner, and you score from that corner, it's like that was literally the last touch of the ball before it, second to last touch of the ball before it went in the goal. you got it wrong, and we've been punished because you can't go back and look at it. So I do like that. And in a lot of cases, Jordan, it's super obvious. Like when the ball goes off a player and it should be a goal kick, it's like super obvious. It's not like, oh, did it touch his toe? Like it's normally they just blatantly miss it. So I think that'll be actually good at the World Cup.
My favorite thing that has changed recently in the Premier League specifically is them explaining via like an announcement of what the ruling actually was. I totally love that. It's definitely got an NFL feel to it a little bit, but I feel like everybody needs to be on the same page. Why did we make the ruling, and this is what we're doing?
Well, they do it in NBA. They do it in rugby. They do it in NFL. I think they might even do it in baseball now. I think they might do it in hockey. So like, I'm okay with it. Most of the Brits aren't, but they're never happy with any real change.
Those football fans,
just crazy football fans.
Okay. Well, just as a reminder to everybody, if you would like to have your question featured on Unfiltered Soccer, you should email me again, politely, feedback@unfilteredsoccer.com. Send us lots of questions over the course of the next 2 weeks, because in 2 weeks we'll be back with the Unfilty Awards, and we always do an extended mailbag. So please send more of your truly wild suggestions for how to make soccer better. I love those. So
nice.
All right, Tim.
Thanks, Jordan. Appreciate you.